All right, recording started.
This CPOC Commissioner meeting is hereby called to order. The time is 6:11 p.m. My name is Hassan Bennett. I am the interim chair of the Citizens Police Oversight Commission, and I will be facilitating this meeting. This meeting was properly advertised pursuant to the Pennsylvania Sunshine Act. And with that, I will begin to call roll. Commissioners, please acknowledge that you're here and present when I call your name. Commissioner Latanya Whitehead.
Here, Commissioner Chair.
Thank you. Commissioner Erica Stewart.
Here, Commissioner Chair.
Commissioner Malika Rockman. Did we lose Commissioner Rockman?
Nope, I'm here. I was just making sure that Michelle was able to get in. So Commissioner Kennedy should be in now.
Okay. Commissioner Gilberto Gonzalez.
Present, sir. Thank you.
Commissioner Gilbert Gonzalez is present. Commissioner John Solomon. Commissioner Solomon, did we lose Commissioner Solomon?
It means Commissioner Solomon present. Had to take my mic off.
Well, all is well. Commissioner Hakeem P.A.
Commissioner PA present.
Commissioner P.A. is present. Commissioner Melanie DeBose.
Commissioner DeBose is present.
All 9 commissioners are present, and with that, we have a full quorum. So, let me see. Okay. Has everyone had a chance to review?
Mr. Chair, I don't think you called everybody. Did you call Commissioner Enix Kenny?
Yes. Okay, Commissioner Enix Kenny?
I am here, present.
Okay, I apologize. Thank you. Thank you to our executive director. Has everyone had a chance to review the meeting agenda for tonight?
Yes, I have. This is Commissioner Solomon here.
Do I hear a motion?
I move that we approve the agenda for tonight's meeting. This is Commissioner DeBose.
Commissioner DeBose moves to approve tonight's meeting agenda. Does anyone second that motion?
Commissioner PA seconds the motion.
Commissioner PA seconds that motion. All in favor of approving tonight's meeting agenda, say aye.
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 All those not in favor of approving tonight's meeting agenda, say aye. And with that, tonight's meeting agenda is approved. Has everyone had a chance to review the meeting minutes for March 13th?
We have.
Yes.
Do I hear a
Yes.
motion?
Yes.
I move for the approval of the minutes for March, and this is Commissioner DeBose.
Commissioner DeBose motions to approve the March 13th minutes. Does anyone second that motion?
Commissioner Solomon, I'll second the motion.
Commissioner Solomon seconds the motion to approve the March 13th minutes. All in favor of approving the March 13th minutes, say aye.
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 All those not in favor of approving the March 13th minutes, please say aye. And with that, the March 13th minutes are approved. Did everyone have a chance to review the March 27th minutes?
We have, and Chair, just to remind you, we generally combine those two, and we generally, and I should have made the motion and clarified it, but we generally approve the second week and the fourth week at the same time in the interest of keeping time.
Yeah. So do we have to approve that? We got to turn to.
We do now, but we'll do better the next time.
Okay, so
You got it.
Commissioner Melanie DeBose moves to approve the March 27th meeting minutes. Does anyone second that motion?
Commissioner Solomon, I second the motion.
Commissioner Solomon seconds that motion. All in favor, please say aye.
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 All those not in favor, please say aye. With that, the March 27th meeting minutes have been approved. With that, we welcome our new commissioners. We are at a full quorum. As you've heard during the roll call, we have new commissioners that have been appointed and approved by City Council. I have a small bio for each commissioner, right?
Yep, I'll go to the next slide.
Are we here? So with that, Commissioner Michelle Enix Kenny, welcome to the Citizens Police Oversight Commission. Michelle Ennis Kenny is a passionate advocate, minister, and community leader dedicated to empowering underserved communities and promoting justice. With over 2 decades of experience in grassroots organizing, her impact spans from Alabama to New York, addressing critical issues and uplifting vulnerable populations. Michelle serves as a member of the Patient and Family Advisory Council, or short, PFAC, at Good Shepherd Penn Partners and Penn Medicine Experience leadership team. Inspired by the compassionate care for her family received during her parents' prolonged health battles, she dedicates her efforts to supporting frontline healthcare workers and ensuring families receive informed, compassionate care as they navigate complex medical challenges. A proud HBCU alumna, Michelle holds dual degrees, a BS and a BA in psychology and sociology from Tuskegee University. She leverages her expertise to mentor and coach aspiring community leaders, guiding them towards resilience and impactful leadership. And with that, I will turn to Commissioner Enix Kenny. Welcome, Commissioner.
Thank you.
Commissioner, I do have a question for you. What do you
Sure.
expect to gain and provide as a commissioner of the Citizens Police Oversight Commission?
Well, I expect to gain a thorough knowledge and understanding of this process, considering the fact that we are building yet again with the jewels that were left from the previous experiences. You know, there's a part of the Bible that says that Paul was on a ship and the ship got wrecked and they made it to dry ground on broken pieces. And I believe that this is a opportunity to build from the pieces that have been left behind and to create what isn't and build what can be. I'm looking forward to just being a part of the trajectory that changes and brings to fruition the impact that this that I'm going to call you guys CPOC has always yearned and desired to accomplish. So I'm honored to be among just an incredible alliance of amazing men and women on this commission that are going to change that. My father always says, what it takes to turn a car in a corner is a lot different than how you turn a bus on that same corner.
Okay, thank you, Commissioner. And that is Commissioner Michelle Enix Kenny. Danny, can we get the next slide, please? Welcome, Commissioner Roberto Gonzalez. Commissioner Roberto Gonzalez is an award-winning writer, designer, educator, and documentary film writer with over 20 years of experience in higher education, media, and community advocacy. Danny, I need you to go back. A lifelong activist, he has dedicated his career to supporting and uplifting his community, using his creative and strategic skills to drive change in the Philadelphia and beyond. For most of his career, Gilberto held the title as Senior Graphic Designer, earning national recognition for his work. His paintings have been showcased in Mexico, Canada, and across the United States, including California and Pennsylvania. And he was a featured artist at the Poets' Den in Harlem. His dedication to education extends to curriculum development. He played a key role in designing a graphic design program for the school district of Philadelphia and taller. I cannot pronounce that. This is a Spanish word. So with that, I will turn this over to Gilberto. Please tell me what this means.
Taller puertorriqueño, that's Puerto Rican workshop.
Okay, the Puerto Rican workshop, now known as YEC. Additionally, he served as a professor of Latino history at the Philadelphia Police Academy, fostering cultural awareness and historical understanding. And with that, I will turn to Commissioner Gonzalez with the same two questions.
Could you rephrase the questions?
The question is, what do you hope to provide to the commission as well as take from the commission?
So what I hope to provide is my community connections, my ability to fundraise, my ability to connect with partners, build relationships. That's what I hope I can bring to this group. What I think what I hope to learn from this group is to learn everyone here has all these amazing skills, amazing history, and I hope that I can absorb that and learn from that, because I think at the end of the day, improving the lives of our citizens and making things better for our communities is what we're here for. So thank you.
And Commissioner Gonzalez, I'm going to tell you what I hope to learn from you and gain from you in this commission. I'm hoping some of that good curriculum development and graphic design leaks into this commission. Thank you. I am excited for Commissioner Gonzalez and Commissioner Kenny. Can we get the next slide, please, Danny? Commissioner Malika Rahman, welcome to the Citizens Police Oversight Commission. For all those in attendance, Commissioner Rahman is a dedicated professional with extensive experience in public service, community leadership, and law enforcement. As the founder of Be a Great You, Inc., and assistant criminal justice professor at the Community College of Philadelphia, Malika has spent her career empowering individuals through education, mentorship, and advocacy. With a master's degree in criminal justice from St. Joseph's University, she is committed to advancing social justice and enhancing the relationship between communities and law enforcement. A proud alumni of the Community College of Philadelphia, Malika has a strong connection to the institution where she actively contributes to shaping the next generation of criminal justice professionals. Her experience in law enforcement, including roles as a correctional officer and deputy sheriff detective, has provided her with deep understanding of the challenges and complexities facing law enforcement today. And with that, I hand the microphone over to Commissioner Rahman with the same two questions. What do you expect to provide to the Citizens Police Oversight Commission, as well as what do you expect to gain?
Wonderful. Thank you so much. So to answer the question very simply, what do I look to give? Everything that I have, my expertise, my insight, my resources, my relationships, to ensure that what I look to gain is the same, that the people of the city of Philadelphia are able to get what they need from us in terms of representation. And what that looks like is being able to build bridges and fill gaps where they are necessary using the resources that we have. It is a unique opportunity to sit in this seat, to stand in this place, and I look forward to the opportunity to serve the citizens of the city of Philadelphia collectively, to let them know that all that we have and everything that we possess is going to them to ensure that they are represented well.
And what I'm looking to gain from Ms. Rockman, so everyone is aware, I'm looking to gain that experience and that thought pattern, that mindset that Ms. Rockman has through her experience. She has a point of view that that is unique to the oversight world. And I'm excited to dig in that brain and figure out some things that will benefit the Police Oversight Commission. Thank you, Ms. Rockman. Hey, Danny, can we get the next one? Commissioner Erica Stewart. Ladies and gentlemen, Commissioner Erica Stewart is a resilient social entrepreneur with lived experience overcoming significant trauma. Champions.
Sorry, it keeps doing that. So
I don't
there's a
know
setting
why.
on PowerPoint that somebody changed, and keeps doing that. So I apologize.
Okay. Her work centers on supporting elderly and at-risk youth in Philadelphia, particularly in the beloved Mount Airy neighborhood. Recognized for her dedication, she received a 2022 Community Champion Award from the Mayor's Office and the 2022 Changemaker of the Year Award from Uptown Standards newspaper. In 2023, she was a finalist for the Making Space program. In 2025, she opened Kid & Co. gift shop and cafe, celebrating Philadelphia's culture and featuring African. Please pronounce that for me.
Diaspora.
Diasporas?
Yes.
Diaspora.
Yeah.
So I'm going to ask first, what is diasporas?
So it's the
Diaspora.
Diaspora.
Somebody educate me, please. Educate me. That's what I'm here for.
so it's the travel of the people, the art, the food that came from Black and brown countries and how they came to America and beyond.
And with that now that you have the mic, I'm going to ask you two questions, Commissioner Stewart. You already provided some education to the commission. I'm going to ask you, what do you plan to provide the commission and your position, as well as gain from the commission and your position?
I would start out with just the ability to be myself, being a learner, but also an educator, understanding that language and culture go hand in hand. And I think that's another thing when it comes to like oversight and accountability and transparency, is really understanding what a person means versus what they say. I always put the espora on there because I am Puerto Rican, so I need just a little bit of ara on the end. So it's me paying homage to myself, being a first generation Philadelphian, that I don't have any family that's here in Philly. So I'm born and raised here, but the people that I have been in community with have made me change that decision, that I do have family here in Philly, and I believe that they deserve to be served by a police force and a law enforcement that is of respecting to them and knows how to follow the law.
I am happy to have Commissioner Stewart with us. I would like to thank Commissioner Stewart personally. What I expect, or what I'm hoping to gain from you, is that connection. You're deep rooted not only in the Mount Airy section. I think this does a disservice to who you are, right? We know a lot of people we've spoken, but you have deep roots throughout the city of Philadelphia, but strong roots in the uptown area. That is Mount Airy, Logan, everything that is people are confused if it's North or not North. That's all you right there. You are deeply rooted in that. The community respects you, right? And I'm happy to have you in the Oversight Commission. And with that, Danny, can I get the next slide, please? Commissioner Latanya Whitehead. For all those that are unfamiliar with Latanya Whitehead, as a program manager at Shalom Inc., Commissioner Latanya has built a career rooted in violence prevention, crisis intervention, and addressing public health disparities. In her work with K through 12 students across Philadelphia, she understands the critical role of safety and trust in fostering community well-being. She has collaborated with schools, local organizations, and city officials on initiatives designed to reduce the systemic factors that lead to violence, foster empathy, and provide young people with the tools to thrive. Her expertise in navigating issues of racial disparities and public safety equip her to approach oversight work with both sensitive and a solution-focused mindset. I appreciate that. Beyond her professional achievements, Commissioner Latanya's personal story as a homeowner in her city reflects her commitment to investing in the future of Philadelphia, particularly for Black and brown families. Her abilities to connect with people from all walks of life makes her a bridge builder, someone who can navigate complex environments and bring diverse stakeholders together. And with that, I will ask Commissioner Whitehead, what do you plan to gain from the commission as well as provide to the Citizens Police Oversight Commission?
Thank you so much, Commissioner Chair. I am excited to say I am excited about joining the Citizens Police Oversight Commission is an understatement. I am over the moon, being as though I have experience in violence prevention and public health. I aim to build safety and trust in the community, to build bridges in the community, to drive change in the community, and to gain insight in community relations. I'm also looking to enhance my governance skills, and I'm committed again to building that strong community representation and policy improvements to build that gap between the police, to build a safer Philadelphia that we all live in and we all love and appreciate. So I, again, am totally excited. I love all the people, and I'm looking forward to learning and growing with you and making this happen. I am ready. Thank you so much.
I'm excited to have Commissioner Whitehead on the commission. I'm excited to have all of you. I'm really excited to have Commissioner Whitehead. With her bio, after reading her bio, we could have used Commissioner Whitehead about 2 years ago. But we've passed that and we've grown stronger, right, as a commission. So now that we all need, every group needs a Commissioner Whitehead to soothe things out and just navigate, just help people level out just some, right, and point out the flaws of everybody. But I appreciate you, Commissioner Whitehead. Welcome to the Citizens Police Oversight Commission, to all the new commissioners, right? I would like to give you guys a personal round of applause, and I would like to thank you all for joining this commission. And we're going to do some things. Yes, we are. We're going to do some things. We got people from all walks in Philadelphia. We got people to stretch to all communities of Philadelphia and that are willing to work, right? And it's going to be a lot of work, and everybody has sent. Sounds like they're willing to work. And with that being said, you all have met her before. our amazing, as Councilman Jones calls her, our superstar executive director is who I'm going to pass the meeting off to. And with that, Executive Director Tanya McClary.
Good evening, everybody. I'm excited to be here as always to talk about the great work that's going on. And so with that, we can go to our first slide. So the Citizens Police Oversight Commission's mission is to oversee and investigate the conduct, policies, and practices of the Philadelphia Police Department. We currently receive complaints of misconduct. We audit and monitor internal affairs investigations and police disciplinary processes. We sit and vote on PBI panels at police discipline hearings. We conduct oversight of police shootings, analyze police data, develop policy recommendations and reports, and engage in outreach and training. And I'm really excited about, so there's a lot going on. So just an example of outreach and training. Today, right before this meeting, was at the Police Academy. I'm really excited that our office has been able to embed ourselves into the curriculum for recruits. And so before they leave the academy, they have to have a class put on by CPOC. And so we currently do a 2-hour class with them. And so I usually go and I want to introduce myself to them and talk to them about oversight and all of that while they are still in the academy. And so today I was able to go out and it was an interesting day at the academy, because not only did we talk to the recruit class, so the men and women that are getting ready to hit the streets, but it was also promotion day. And so there were a lot of people being promoted to the levels of corporal, sergeant, and lieutenant. So it was really nice to see a lot of people's families there. All of the top brass from the police department were there. So a pretty busy day. But in terms of training, that is one of the things that we do. And one of the things that we also do in terms of gathering data and helping with assessment is that every recruit class gets a survey. And I just recently added to the survey. So it's a survey about what they think about their training at the academy. And we've actually been able to use that survey to make recommendations to the police department about improved ways of training their recruits. But what we recently added was also a critique of our workshop. I'm always curious what the recruits think about the lessons that they're learning about oversight. So that's a new set of data that we're going to be capturing going forward, so that we can make sure that we are always in the business of improving how the recruit classes are hearing from us. So it's always great to see officers very young in their careers, and so hopefully impact them in a positive way when they hear the name CPOC. So yes, so that was great. But why civilian oversight is necessary is that it protects human rights and promotes constitutional policing. It increases public confidence and trust in the police. It builds bridges between law enforcement and the public. It supports effective policing, and it ensures greater accountability and enhances risk management. And one of the things I'll say about that, for some reason, like, we know this in our head, but today I realized that, why it's important to talk to recruits, but really just any officers, that most of the time when CPOC interacts with the police, it's not a good thing, right? It's because somebody's filed a complaint, or somehow we're a PBI in a discipline process. So most of the time when we're learning about officers is because there's been some kind of allegations. So I talked to them about the importance of our outreach team doing things in the community with the police, right? So there's an event coming up that our commissioner, organization, Commissioner Whitehead, is doing, and we're also doing that with the community group as well as the police district. I think it's really important around this issue of bridging the gap between law enforcement and the public, for us to be doing that, for us to be doing things. So you will see that CPOC will often team up with the districts and do work for the communities that they serve. And so that is definitely a way that we bridge the gap between law enforcement and the public, is to work with the police and the men and women that patrol particular districts, and also help to support the needs of the community. So I told you whenever I get a chance, we always want to bring out examples about how these things kind of come off the page and really work in real life. So that's an example of how we bridge the gap between law enforcement and the public. So next slide. So this is exciting. This is exciting. We just released our annual report. And so this is my very first annual report. I'm so excited, even though I wasn't here for all of 2024. I'm excited that we were able to do it. So we will make sure that all the commissioners get a copy of the annual report. We will be sending it out to our partners, to council, to PPD, and other places. So it's really phenomenal. And there's a letter from me. There's also a letter from the chair, Chair Bennett. And it's really just highlights the amazing work that we did in 2024. And when you get a chance to flip through it and see all of the phenomenal things this office did with the small staff that we have, I am always just amazed at the number of people on my team can do the amount of work that we do. And so I'm just so excited. And so you all are getting it hot off the press. And so we will hopefully drop a link in the chat or something so that members of the public can access it too. But there's all kind of ways that we will be advertising for people to go in and do the annual reports. I'm really excited about that. So yeah. All right, our next slide. So if we can go back. So I want to bring up two issues before we get into the complaints data that I would like the chair to open up, however he feels is appropriate to the commission. So one of the issues is that I think people saw in the news, one of the questions that CPOC have been trying to ascertain is how and if PPD was assisting ICE in this climate, right? And I think we all know ICE is the federal enforcement agency that's enforcing immigration laws, et cetera. And I know that in the current climate, there was a lot of concern about, you know, people being rounded up and other things and being questioned about their status. And, you know, it was from our understanding that, you know, PPD really wasn't assisting in the actual arrest of people, that if they were assisting ICE, it was kind of tangential. So say, for example, they were doing a raid, that PPD's part may potentially just be like maybe directing traffic or doing other things, but not actually assisting an arrest. And so it has come to CPOC through one of our commissioners that a member of PPD may have actually helped in the arrest of someone, helped ICE in actually the arrest. And so, you know, we will continue to monitor these things. We will ask the public to please bring us this information, bring information to the commissioners. We're not prepared yet to say what, if anything, will happen, but we're just excited that the community has faith in our commission and is bringing these issues forward. So, Chairman, I'll turn it back over to you to figure out how to open this up or this issue. But like I said, we're not prepared yet to really say how we'll deal with the information. But we wanted the public to know that we are a potential place for you to bring those concerns and for us to be working with you to try to figure out these issues, especially in this climate. So I'll turn it back over to you, Chair, to figure out how you want to handle that item.
You're muted, Hassan.
Thank you, Danny. Can you hear me now? Danny, can you hear me? Can everyone hear me?
Yep, we can. Sorry.
Okay, I'm going to go around to each commissioner and ask if they have any questions or comments on this issue. I think that I'll state my comment last after I go to each commissioner. Commissioner Melanie DeBose, do you have any questions or comments on this issue?
I have none at this time.
Commissioner Whitehead, do you have any questions or comments on this issue?
I apologize. Chair, I have none at this time.
Commissioner Gonzalez, do you have any questions or comments on this issue?
I think just maybe get information gathering first. I mean, how do we gather? Because we can't. We don't know what's in our wheelhouse until we have information. So, information gathering, how that's done.
Commissioner Stewart, do you have any questions or comments on this issue?
Not at the moment, no.
Commissioner John Solomon, do you have any questions or comments?
No, I don't have any questions or comments. Thank you.
Commissioner NX Kenny, do you have any questions or comments?
Not at the moment, but the fire's burning.
Commissioner PA, do you have any questions or comments?
No questions. Thank you.
Commissioner Rockman, do you have any questions or comments?
No, not at this time.
My comment is we built relationships within these communities thanks to our outreach staff. So to continue to advocate that we are a partner with the community in this space.
Oh,
We must continue to advocate that we are a partner with the community and to keep working with these community organizations that are affected by the ICE these ICE raids. I think at this time that's all we can say. The next stage is to figure out how we would move strategically moving forward, or how we would go about this strategically. And I'm just going to state a couple things. Danny, help me out.
Can someone mute? It's
Hold on.
I'm dismissing people from my house. I am so sorry.
Danny,
And if you mute me, I'm shot.
can you help?
So please forgive
help
me.
out real quick, please.
No, don't mute me because I can't unmute, and I'm sending people out of my house. They'll be gone in a nanosecond.
With that being said, maybe we could do drop boxes, complaint boxes, or something like that. But this is something that because it's a strategic move moving forward, it's we may need an executive session for it once we find out more information in regards to what is transpiring and how it goes about. We trust you as our executive director, as well as our general counsel, and to lead in this matter. And I trust my fellow commissioners in getting the word out there, however we decide to move strategically. But this is an all hands on deck thing. This is an all hands on deck mission that we have to be delicate with due to the political climate, but also support our community, because that's why we are the Citizens Police Oversight Commission. Although some stretches of it go outside of our realm, we are community driven. And to continue to foster partnerships with the community, we have to stand with the community, even if it doesn't affect us individually. All right, and with that, I'll turn the meeting back over to our Executive Director, Tanya McClary.
So I want to share with the commission and the public something that I'm calling, it's a bittersweet victory, but one of the reasons why having an oversight commission is important. So a few years ago, I think our office, the community knows now, definitely the commission knows that we've been doing a lot of tracking of cases where officers get their jobs back. And in fact, we just issued a phenomenal report just a couple of months ago where we were looking at the PTAB, and that's the arbitration board that listens to cases of officers that have been disciplined and fired from the police department. And we did a phenomenal report on that. So I'm going to ask Catherine Twigg to jump in if I miss anything in sharing this information with the commission. So one of the officers that got his job back was a Lieutenant McFadden. And this is a case that was very interesting because the person that was grieved in the case was actually a fellow member of the staff of PPD. It was a 911 dispatcher. So unlike just like a regular person from the public, the person that had the concern about the actions of Officer Lieutenant McFadden was a 911 dispatcher. So on this particular day, Lieutenant McFadden was in his personal vehicle, and I'm not sure completely while he's in personal vehicle because he was actually working. I think he was heading into work, but on the way into work, was starting his shift already. I don't know, either informally or somehow, but he was in his personal vehicle. But he reached out to the dispatch to get some follow-up information so he could contact a complainant. In the process of him getting this information and speaking with the 911 dispatcher, at some point in time, Officer McFadden said effing N-words. So effing N-words is, and the dispatcher that he was talking to just happened to be an African-American woman. And he, like I said, used profanity and followed that profanity up with the N-word. The dispatcher brought that to the attention of her supervisors, etc. And it ultimately ended in Officer McFadden being fired from the police department and losing his job. His statements have been kind of inconsistent throughout this situation. And at one point in time, I believe he said that he was never directing it at the dispatcher herself, who I just described to you all as an African-American woman. Somehow since he was in his personal vehicle, he still had his lunch and a beverage. And I think he came to a stop, a abrupt stop, and it spilled all over the floor. And he said that as a result of that. I think we were still a little concerned about maybe the F part. I think somebody might drop an F-bomb, right? But the follow it up with the N-word, we weren't really clear how that correlated with you spilling your lunch and all over the car, etc. So, so even though he tried to, explain from his viewpoint how this happened, I think members of the community, when this was found out, had a lot of concerns about the officer and his use of that language. And I think, many people were appreciative that the police chief at the time, the police commissioner at the time, found it serious enough that he lost his job. I think you all can probably know where I'm going with this. So through the arbitration process, however, Officer McFadden got his job back. But it was historic in a way because normally when officers get their job back, there's not a lot of attachments to it. Like they normally get them back and you get your estimated overtime and other things. There's not a lot of things normally attached to it. But for whatever reason, the arbitrator in this case put a condition on Officer McFadden getting his job back. And one of the conditions was that he needed to issue an apology to the police commissioner, who at the time was Danielle Outlaw, Commissioner Outlaw, to the dispatcher and to CPOC. So as far as we know, this is the only time CPOC has been named in any type of condition or any type of award of an officer getting their job back. And probably, I think also one of the few times, if ever, we noticed that an arbitrator is telling the officer that they need to apologize and do other things. And so Lieutenant, just so you know, Lieutenant McFadden was a supervisor, as well as you can imagine people at that level supervise people. So to have a supervisor say these things made it even more egregious. So fast forward to the condition of the apology. When Officer McFadden got his job back, he very soon after that retired from the Philadelphia Police Department. So the question became, and he was retired and was going to get all his money back, right? His overtime, his back pay. And the question then became, but how could that happen if he never gave this other condition of the apology? So I want to put a shout out to my team, because this all started before I came, in that my office, the office of CPOC, pressed the city continually to make sure that Lieutenant McFadden, former Lieutenant McFadden, would not get his money unless he did this apology. So in January of 2024, Lieutenant McFadden issued a written apology. I think that the Fraternal Order Police thought that should satisfy this thing around an apology. There was a written apology, etc. And I think everybody thought that should be sufficient. Under my leadership and with the support of my team, and with the vision of my team, we felt like that was not enough. It's not enough for you to write a letter under these circumstances. And just so you know, the dispatcher ended up retiring. Part of it was because of this, and some other issues. And so we didn't feel like a written apology was sufficient. So we kept pressing the city for Lieutenant McFadden to have to do a public apology. And when I say public, an in-person apology, let me say that, in person. So the question became, well, if he's retired, how can we make somebody retired come back, right, and give this apology? But what we kept pressing was that if he has not received his money, you cannot release it, City of Philadelphia, until he issues this apology. So unbeknownst to us, and this is some of the times where maybe the city wheels grinding slow worked in our favor, when we kept pressing this and we kept saying, tell us if he's gotten his money, we learned that he actually had not gotten his money yet. And so we said, well, then if he hasn't gotten it, then he needs to do this apology. And so CPOC kept pressing. And I want to say that today the apology happened. And it would not have happened, I believe, if CPOC had not kept pressing the city to have it happen. And so, from my understanding, I think Lieutenant McFadden is coming back on to the force, and it's not and will now be able to receive his money. But we made the city honor what the arbitrator said in terms of the apology. And that is some of the beauty and the power of having an oversight commission. And so it's bittersweet in a way, right? And that's a bigger issue, and we could have a discussion, as we brought it on our CPOC report, that officers that have been let go from departments are getting their jobs back and being awarded, in a sense, for things when they have had misconduct. But I just want to take a moment to celebrate CPOC, which is the full commission, all of you that are on this call, and my team. And I want to especially give a shout out to my outreach team. Our director of outreach and constituent services, Talia Grimmage. I'm going to let you all know that the city never kept the dispatcher in the loop on this at all. The only time she heard from somebody in the city was through CPOC. And a lot of that work was from the director of outreach and constituent services, Talia Grimmage. So I want to give Director Grimmage, you give people their flowers while they're here, but most of the time when the dispatcher heard from anybody, it was directly from CPOC through the outreach and constituent services department. I was able to pick up that thread once we found out that the apology was happening. I reached out to the dispatcher, coordinated with her dates that would be good for this to happen. And so she was very appreciative today to CPOC. made it very clear that we were the only people that talked to her throughout this process. And so even though it's bittersweet, because former Lieutenant McFadden is going to walk away with all of his back pay and overtime and all of that. But we at least were able to impact and have it be done the way the arbiter said that it should have been done. And so I just want to, so for those of you that are listening, those of you that will listen to the rebroadcast of this or the tape of this is the power of an oversight agency. Because if we had not kept pressing and kept asking, what about this apology that he has not met the conditions, it would have never happened. And potentially business would have gone on as usual. So I'm gonna stop there. I don't know if Catherine wants to add anything before we pass it over back to Chair Bennett. So Catherine, I don't know if you want to say anything or if you want to just pass it over to the chair.
Apologies, I got stuck on mute. No, I don't have anything to add. Thank you for the synopsis.
So Chair Ben, I'm gonna pass that back over to you to lead the discussion how you see fit before we go to the next department for the presentation.
Does any commissioner have comments regarding the work of the outreach team, the leadership of Tanya McClary and Catherine Twigg, or the apology by then Sergeant McFadden? Because he's retired, right? So we call him then?
Yeah, so he was a lieutenant.
Or then Lieutenant McFadden.
Commissioner Solomon, I just want to thank Executive Director Tanya McCleary, as well as Director Talia Grimmett, an entire team that was involved in that process. I know it takes a lot of effort for us to get any kind of progress or produce any kind of major results with doing this work. So I definitely thank you all for not settling and pushing for that apology. Although we probably would have wanted more, we still are establishing an example that we will continue to fight and never settle. So again, I thank you.
Does any other, thank you, Commissioner Solomon. Does any other commissioner have any comments regarding the work of CPOC or the apology or the apology?
Commissioner Whitehead, I want to say job well done for holding this officer accountable for what he did, because and just standing firm in what he was supposed to do, and transparency, accountability, we're all accountable for what we do, and I'm glad that you guys did not allow him to get that money without holding him accountable and saying, no, a letter is not enough. We need you to verbalize it and say, because it's easy to write something. A lot of times we use technology to voice, our concerns or, apologize or different things like that. No, you're not going to get off that easy. So, he's an adult and he did what he did out loud with his voice, and he needed to come back with a public apology. So job well done. Talia Grimmage, I know her, been out in the community with her. So I will personally say, job well done to her, but Miss McCleary, Catherine Twigg, and all of the commissioners prior to us being on, job well done. And that is what we are here to do. Hold individuals accountable, because I know when I do things, I'm held accountable. So that's right, Stan. It takes a village, and we are ready to continue to hold individuals accountable for, injustices and things like that. So wonderful, amazing. I'm so proud to be a part of this team. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. And that was Commissioner Whitehead. Commissioner Gonzalez typed in the chat. Good work, team. Commissioner Rockman typed in the chat. Great work. Does any other commissioner have any comments? Well, I have a comment. Oversight don't work overnight. I keep telling y'all, oversight don't work overnight. In the first quarter of last year, we received the arbitration decisions, right? Prior to Miss Tanya being selected or hired as the executive director of the Citizens Police Oversight Commission. Everybody was excited to see what happened, right? Then commissioners and commissioners now were all excited that were there during the time. We wanted an in-person interview, right? We don't get it. We all don't always get what you want. I learned something though. We need something we could walk away with that both sides can be cool with. We need something. We not gonna always get what we want, but we need something that both sides can walk away with, right? And I'm gonna take you. There's something I learned from the hood. The apology got to be as loud as the disrespect. Apology has to be as loud as the disrespect. So in this case, where we may not want him to get paid, we may want him to remain fired, right? But we did. He is resigned. He has resigned, not resigned, retired. So he's no longer on the force. We don't have that on the force, right? And we ensured that the apology was as loud as the disrespect. Not only did we ensure that the apology is loud as the disrespect, right? My question now, and this is for our leadership, right? We got this amazing staff. We got this amazing craft and Jody, right? Is there a way we can take a portion of what Miss Tanya said tonight about us or the fight towards having the apology be loud for CPOC and make a video that combines that and the apology and put it on the CPOC page? We
Chair,
got Jody though now. We got Commissioner Gonzalez. So if you tell me no, I'm just gonna go to Commissioner Gonzalez and get busy.
Chair, I just want to clarify. So the apology itself was in person to the parties that were ordered by the arbitrator, but it was not public. But we're certainly happy to follow up and talk about any kind of public announcement that you want to make. Just in general, it would be CPOC content only.
Okay, well, this is a public meeting, right? I just want this portions of Miss McCleary, or as I'm gonna keep going back to Councilman Jones. He calls her our superstar executive director. So put our superstar executive director's words so the community can hear her on CPOC's page, and I'm gonna copy it, make it so you can download it, because I'm gonna download it and I'm gonna put it on my page and see how we can ensure that the entire community hears this. All right.
To put on the table some history, just because this happened a lot. Obviously, a lot of this happened. I just kind of helped get over the finish line, but a lot of this work was done way before me.
Hold on, Ms. McCleary. Let me stop you real quick. Because we taking bits and pieces out, you going in and out. We need you to be clear so we can get these bits and pieces.
Can you hear me now?
We can hear you now. Let's get busy.
So I was going to say a lot of this happened before I came. So I also want to put on the record for the public and also our new commissioners that it was this office that actually held a town hall about this in Hunting Park. Mm-hmm. And from my understanding, Commissioner DeBose was there as well as Commissioner Solomon, because Commissioner Solomon, this was your district. This was in the 39th. So once again, it was CPOC. They brought this issue to the forefront. So I'm so excited that we didn't let it stay in the dark. And it was CPOC that brought this over the finish line. So I just kind of want to give people the bookend. So we're the one that kind of unearthed it at this town hall, and then we pressed and pushed it to get it over the finish line. So I just wanted to put that history on the table for the public and also for our new commissioners.
The floor is yours, Ms. McClure.
So we are, and I'm glad you asked us that, Chair. We are thinking about how to let the public know. So obviously some people will know because they're watching this meeting, but we are thinking about other ways. So we would love to have a conversation with you all about how we might let the public know about this victory with CPOC. And with that, I'm going to turn it over for our complaints. So you all can learn about our complaints that came in the month of March. So I'm going to turn it over to Director Guy.
Hello, everybody. I just put in the chat a link to our March complaint report that can be found on our website. To start, I will just read a few of the complaints, just some summaries that we have in the report from the month of March. So the first one, the complainant alleges that they have tried to file multiple police reports and have been unsuccessful when a particular officer is present. The officer has been dismissive and disagreeable to the complaint. The complainant claims the officer is prejudiced against the complainant and has prevented them from filing a report. The complainant has been able to file police reports with other officers when the officer is not present. The complainant has tried to file a report at least 5 times. Another complaint we got, the complainant was pulled over while driving. When the officer approached the passenger side window, the complainant asked why they were pulled over. The officer stated it was due to window tint. The complainant reported that they did not see the red light on the officer's body-worn camera, so they requested the officer turn it on. The officer requested the complainant's license and registration. The complainant stated, "I'm not giving you anything until you turn on your body cam." The complainant reported that they had the same back and forth interaction about 5 times. Another officer then came to the driver's side window and requested the complainant's information. The first officer then unlocked the driver's side door and roughly pulled the complainant out of the car. The complainant stated, "Why are you grabbing me? Get off of me. I don't consent to any search or consent to getting out of my car." The officer unholstered their taser and forced the complainant to get out of the vehicle. The complainant stated, "You doing all this about some tint?" The complainant was then searched by the officer and put in the back of the police vehicle while officers searched the vehicle. The complainant was eventually released and given a citation. Some other complaints that we received. Oh, hold on, sorry, The complainant reported that during a traffic stop, the officers took their driver's license for identification purposes. The officer failed to return it before ending the interaction. The complainant realized their license was missing and attempted to address this matter, but the officer denied having their ID. All passengers of the complainant's vehicle witnessed that the officer never returned the ID. Another complaint, the complainant owns a decking company and was working on a home repair project. Police arrived at the scene and questioned the complainant and wanted to identify them. The complainant pointed out their job and the reason for being at the property, pointed to their business truck with the company's logo on it. The complainant repeatedly told the officer there were people in the property that they could speak with. The officer stated they were detaining the complainant to identify them. Eventually, a white person exited the property and asked if the police were there because of the alarm, then mentioned that they set it off. The complainant reported that the police allowed the white person to go back into the property without asking their name or ID to verify who they were. The complainant believes the officers discriminated against them and their civil rights were violated. Going to the next slide. Sorry. There we go. The next slide, this shows our complaint demographics data. It shows both for race and gender for the month of March. And then on our next slide, this breaks down the year to date. So this is everything that's happened since January 1. And these are all complaints that have been referred to internal affairs thus far. And this is again a breakdown of race and gender. On our next slide, this shows the breakdown of complaints that we have received and submitted as referrals to internal affairs within the year to date, so January through March. And that is the full breakdown. You can see that lack of service is sort of our biggest allegation of complaint that we've received, and just to note that one complaint can have multiple allegations in it. One of the second biggest is departmental violations, which I'll show you on the next slide. This is a more specific breakdown of types of departmental violations, since that's sort of like a nebulous term that folks might not know or understand. So improper search and seizure is one of our top, missing property, others not specified, PPD directive violations. So these are just some breakdown of some of those departmental violations. Again, one complaint from a complainant can have multiple allegations. On the next slide, you'll see this is a breakdown of zip code. It is year to date, so it shows where these incidents are happening that we're receiving complaints from, not specifically where somebody might live, but where the incident that happens. Not to say that an incident might happen in someone's home. On this next slide, this is a breakdown specifically of districts, and it's showing the first 3 quarters. So this is the first 3 months, the first quarter, and these are the specific districts. You'll see that the 9th district is where the largest majority of complaints that have been referred to CPOC. And just to clarify also that this is just complaints that CPOC receives and refers to internal affairs. This is not looking at the entire collection of complaints. Folks can go directly to the district, to internal affairs, file through the police's website. And so there's multiple complaints that are not currently in our data set, but we hope to be in the future. And that's the end of my presentation. Hassan, I don't know if there's any questions from any commissioners.
Pardon me, commissioners. Does any commissioner have any questions for Danny? No commissioner.
I have one question.
Oh, Commissioner Gonzalez with the question for Danny.
So the 9th district red, that's where we've had the most incidents for this period.
Yeah, for this for the whole quarter, which is January through March.
Understood. Okay, and does the CPOC know the history of the 9th district?
What do you mean by that?
Historically, they've been a very discriminatory district.
Yeah.
This is where I grew up. This is where stuff happens. All right, thank you.
Yeah, I just to speak a little bit more on that, CPOC looks at sort of districts and where they come from complaints in a variety of ways. Janine will talk a little bit more about it and what they do in auditings work. But I think that like when we get the full data set in the future, we'll be able to really target things. But we've noticed, I think generally, you'd have to look in the annual report, but I'm pretty sure the 9th district was the top district that we got complaints in our entire year to date for the year of 2024.
Does any other commissioner have any comments regarding the complaint data of the first quarter? No other comments. I do have a question. During the pandemic, it was an issue north of Market Street. I wanted to know if that was the same area on Girard.
As the 9th district?
Would that be where the 9th district is at, on the Girard area where?
You mean like the Vine Street where folks were gassed, or?
I think it was between, it was on like the east side of Broad Street, where the community came out with baseball bats and was singing "na na na na" to the protesters, and the police stood with them.
That would have been the 9th district, presumably.
Commissioner Gonzalez?
No, that was the 24th or the 25th.
Yeah. I think that was in Fishtown.
That's Fishtown.
Thank you. I just wanted to make sure. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Which we did get several complaints about that incident and referred them over to internal affairs.
No further questions.
Back in the day, that was when there was only 5 of us, and I was the only one taking complaints, and we got a lot of phone calls when that happened. My email also, someone found one of the complainants that I spoke to about that, shared my city email and it went viral, and we got a lot of emails
Well,
about that.
that's one way to find some community engagement. Thank
Yeah,
you.
to get the word out that we exist.
Great. So we go to APR. So I don't know if I didn't give this shout out.
Anya, you breaking up again.
So before we go to the Auditing Policy and Research Division, I wanted to give one more shout out. I don't know how I didn't give this shout out. So Catherine, forgive me. I talked to you all about how Talia really shepherded the work with the community and the dispatcher. But internally, it was our general counsel that kept this going alive as well, bringing us back to the fact that the award had not been fulfilled, and really shepherded the agency and worked to really push the law department to keep this going and to keep probing. And so I also want to give a shout out to our general counsel, Catherine Twigg. So, you know, Catherine just charged it to my mind, not my heart. She really helped to keep this pushing and going inside the agency as Talia held it down in the community and with the dispatcher. So I want to just give you a shout out, Catherine.
And for the new commissioners that don't know, our general counsel, Catherine Twigg, really shies away from the public eye. So we just throw her out there from time to time. So thank you. Thank you, Attorney Twigg, once again.
Pleasure.
Awesome. So I think we're going to hear from our APR right now. And just for the new commissioners, this is a unit that has been, a division that has been combined. We used to have a separate policy unit and a separate auditing unit. And so Director Zajac now has both. So it's the auditing, policy, and research division, APR. So I'm going to turn it over to our director to let you all know what's been happening in that division.
Great, thank you. So yes, we have a lot of different tasks under our division umbrella. We are still a quite small team, so it's me and then 3 analysts who work on my team. We are very, very, very busy every single day. The biggest task that we take on is auditing. And for any of the new commissioners who are not familiar with this, this is a process where our team reviews case file materials provided by the Internal Affairs Division for investigations that are finished but have not been signed by the higher ups within the police department. So this version of auditing started last summer at the beginning of July. And I was looking at the calendar, and it's amazing to see how fast July is coming up. So we've been doing this for going on a year now. So our team reviews these case file materials, and we have 11 business days to complete our review of these cases and notify the police department if we will provide feedback on these cases. So when we review the case file materials, this includes interview memos, body worn camera footage, everything within the investigative file. If we see something that isn't clear to us, if we have a recommendation for how something might be done differently within the investigation or within the report of investigation, we'll send a specific recommendation back to the investigator. So an example of that would be, we would recommend the investigator should interview all officers present during the incident or provide an explanation for why these officers were not interviewed. This allows our staff to review these investigations while they're still open and give feedback about things we think need to be clarified. And we use the same series of questions to look at each case so that our reviews can be consistent. So it's essentially a checklist where we can say, what were certain aspects of the investigation done, yes or no? And we also collect a lot of descriptive data about the investigation, such as where the incident occurred, demographics of those involved, and things of that nature. So you can move to the next slide, Danny. So in the coming slides, I'll report on the audits that our team completed in the month of March. We reviewed 45 cases in the month of March. We received a total of 59 cases from Internal Affairs. And sorry, some of these numbers aren't adding up. I know that we reviewed 45 cases in March. We received a total of 59. We did 45 cases. So there were 40 full investigations that we reviewed in March. And 5 cases were divisional cases. That means they were handled at a lower level in the police department by the officers' direct supervisors. That's for when officers have a first complaint of something like verbal abuse or lack of service that is on the lower end of severity, for a quicker resolution for that officer. Go to the next slide, please. So in the cases we reviewed in March, the chart is a breakdown of the case classification. So the classification is given to a case at the very beginning of it when it's filed. And they classify each case based on the most serious allegation that's present. There's a hierarchy that they use. In the month of March, the cases we reviewed were consistent with previous months. Lack of service, verbal abuse, and departmental violation cases were the most common in March. We did notice that there was one case classified as a criminal allegation, which is not very common. The subclassification for that case, to get a little more specific about what that case was about, related to retail theft, or theft. And the allegation was that after a search warrant, a complainant was saying that they had some items missing from their home. We also noted 2 cases that were classified as domestic. Those are also not very common for us to see, so I wanted to say a little bit more about those. One was an allegation related to domestic stalking, where someone said their ex-partner was stalking him, but they provided no additional information about that through the investigation. So they didn't really continue with that allegation. And then the other related to a custody dispute and an alleged domestic assault that occurred within that case. So those were the details for that. You can go to the next slide. Thank you. We also tracked the type of encounter that ultimately is giving rise to the complaint being filed, so we can understand what interactions between community members and officers are the basis for some of these complaints. So something that was interesting in March was that there are a lot of off-duty incidents that came through, and that is not something that we see commonly. Typically, complaints are filed after someone calls 911 to request officer assistance, or there's some other sort of street level interaction on duty, but there were 8 off-duty incidents that we reviewed. So I broke those down into the types of cases that they were. You can see them there. There was harassment, some neighbor disputes, social media incident, the domestic instance that I mentioned in the previous slide, those were off duty as well. And then there was one physical abuse threatened with firearm case related to an off duty incident. So you can go to the next slide, Danny. We always track the district of occurrence because understanding the geography of these complaints and these incidents is very important. So the breakdown is here on this graph here. Last month, the 19th district had the highest number of cases that we reviewed at 6, and then the 9th and the 25th, the next highest with 4 each. And this month we see is the 2nd, the 39th that have the highest number of complaints. So obviously this becomes a little bit more illustrative once we have a 6 months or a year's worth of data to look at, but it's interesting to see how these numbers fluctuate from month to month. Next slide, please. So a big thing that the police department tracks and that we pay attention to as well is how long these investigations are taking. They do have a guideline to complete investigations within 90 business days. Complaints that are made by members of the public have that 90 business day guideline. Last month, they hit just 53% of meeting that 90-day guideline. And this month it was almost 90%. So that's higher than what it was for all of 2024 for the live audits that we did. So it's great to see that moving in that direction, that these cases and investigations are being handled in a more timely manner. Of the 5 cases that were not completed within 90 business days in March, unfortunately, the team felt that only one had a clear explanation for why the case took so long. I provided an example here in one of the harassment cases that we looked at. A reason given for why the investigation took so long was that the subject officer was on sick leave. And then we saw that the subject officer was not contacted for their interview until after they retired. So the PC memo the report of investigation didn't clarify when the officer's sick leave began. And so we really don't know if a timely interview was possible in this case, but that explanation just raised some questions for us. And so we've tracked that in our data to understand how these explanations are being given in these reports. Next slide, please. So of course, we look at the allegations present in each case and track some of that information. And because we have access to body-worn camera footage for these cases, we're always watching through all of the videos to understand what is present in the video footage. Something I always want our staff to pay attention to is if they're watching these body-worn camera videos, are there additional allegations or violations present in the video footage that isn't being addressed in the investigation? So there were 16 cases that didn't have any body-worn camera footage available just due to the nature of the incident. In 21 cases that had the body-worn camera footage available, all of the allegations and violations were properly handled in the investigation. However, in 9 cases, our review of the footage found additional things that needed to be addressed in the report. And so we made recommendations to the investigators about those. Something we've been looking at, which may seem like a minor issue, is how officers are operating their body-worn cameras. They're supposed to keep them in standby mode while they're on duty, and that allows them to instantly turn their camera on, and that ultimately collects 1 minute of a recording prior to when they hit that button. If their camera is instead off and they turn it on and then activate it, it doesn't capture that full minute. And so depending on the incident, you can lose some valuable information by not getting that full buffer period of 1 minute when the officer actually activates their camera. So it's that proper operation of the cameras that we're looking for. And we started to highlight that buffer period or standby mode violation that we're seeing. It seems minor and I can appreciate that, but when it comes to using these body-worn cameras for their full purpose and the accountability measures that it provides, we want them to be operating them properly. You can go to the next slide, Danny. Again, with allegations, we're always looking to see if the findings of these allegations are logical and reasonable based on all of the evidence that's provided in the case and all the analysis that's given in the report. 80% of the time we found these allegations made perfect sense. We had a few examples. We had 9 cases or 20% where we didn't feel like the findings were lining up with the evidence presented in the case. A couple of examples of that is changing an allegation from unfounded to not sustained because there really wasn't clear evidence to show what happened either way. This was in one of those harassment cases I talked about. We want to use unfounded when it's very clear that whatever the complainant is alleging just did not occur. We made a similar recommendation for a physical abuse allegation. The investigator stated that it could not be determined when the complainant received his injuries. So by that logic, it could not be determined who caused it. And so we recommended that a finding be changed to not sustained because we really couldn't tell what happened with this complainant's injury. Next slide, please. So in 16 of the 45 cases that we reviewed, there was 1 or more sustained allegation present, meaning they found that misconduct did occur. Of those 16 cases with the misconduct that was proven, 7 of those cases sustained only administrative violations. And we track this because it's interesting to see the types of allegations that are being sustained, if it's the allegations that are being made by the complainant, or if it's something else, an administrative violation like not activating a body-worn camera properly or not doing paperwork properly. So that means that 9 cases in total had sustained allegations that were made by a complainant. You can go to the next slide. We're always looking to make sure that all allegations and violations present in the case are properly addressed, whether those are being seen in body-worn camera footage or it's something the complainant said in their original complaint. So in March, there was a total of 35 missing allegations that we made recommendations to the department to add into these cases. Last month, there were 29 missing allegations, the same exact percentages, was 53% of cases having missing allegations and 47% of cases not having missing allegations or accounting for all allegations properly. The table shows the types of allegations we're spotting in these cases and making recommendations. This past month, it was overwhelmingly related to body-worn camera activation or usage, and we'll continue to advocate for that because it is such an important tool for accountability. Next slide, please. So of the 40 full investigations that we audited, we had feedback for 72% of them, or 29 individual cases. This is a similar statistic to last month. We had feedback for 75% of the cases we reviewed. And in all the cases we did in 2024, it was about a 64% rate of having feedback for these cases. Something I can report, and I noted last month as well, we are seeing some really positive changes in the reports as a result of these audits. We're seeing additional explanation provided in these reports that is clarifying the investigation and clarifying some of the questions we've been having consistently. So it's been great to see investigators changing a little bit of how they're working and clarifying some things for us ahead of our recommendations, and just seeing them as more of a collaborative team when it comes to some of these cases. Next slide, please. So that's it for the data from the month of March. Some things that are in development or on the horizon for the division. We just today had our first meet and greet with the internal affairs investigators. We're doing another one next week to do the rest of the investigators. It was a really productive conversation to just put some faces to all of their names and just hear a little bit about their experience of these audits and understand some things that we might tweak or look to change to make our working relationship even more productive than it already is. We have started a process to reestablish within the police department's directive reviews. So when they make any changes to their directives, being able to review those changes, and if we need to announce anything to the public or inform the community about these changes, figuring out how we can make that happen. We've been working on our body-worn camera audit project, and it's underway. So that is ongoing, where we selected a number of districts to look at and review their body-worn camera usage in a random sample to understand if there's any recommendations or barriers to their proper usage of those, and work with them on that. A report for all of the audits we did in 2024 is on the horizon, being worked on. Data is being analyzed. A lot of writing is being done. So that is in the process. And we are planning to have that out hopefully in the next month or two, perhaps. And then also we submitted a proposal to the National Association of Civilian Oversight of Law Enforcement annual conference to talk about our auditing work and share our process with our colleagues across the country, because this is work that I think could be helpful for a lot of different offices in various ways. So that has been submitted, but no word on if it's been accepted yet. So I think that's my final slide. If there are any questions I can answer from any of the commissioners, I'll be happy to do that.
This is an important one. So this is what I'm going to do. I am going to go individually to each commissioner to see if they have any questions or comments for Janine. All right. Commissioner Hakeem PA, do you have any questions or comments for the APR division?
No questions.
Commissioner Rockman, do you have any questions or comments for the APR division?
No questions. Only comment is thank you for such a thorough report.
Thorough. Commissioner John Solomon, do you have any questions or comments for the director of the APR division, Janine?
No, I do not. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Whitehead, do you have any questions or comments for the APR division's leader, Director Janine?
No questions. Job well done, Ms. Janine. Thank you.
Commissioner, I'm missing somebody. Oh, I'm missing a lot of people. Commissioner Stewart, do you have any questions or comments for Director Janine?
No questions. I'm very impressed with the data and how clear it is. Thank you.
Commissioner Gonzalez, do you have any questions or comments for Janine?
Yes, no, thank you for the data. The other data that I think I'd be interested in is, for example, like just for personal experience, the Ninth District has always been really problematic in that community, like Spring Garden, Francisville, 60s, 70s, the 80s. I mean, it'd be good to see, like, I know you listed all of the different police districts. Which ones are the most persistent, maybe?
Mm,
All right, thank you.
okay. Janine, would you like to comment on that?
Yeah, I think that is something that we'll definitely touch on in the report about all of the 2024 cases we looked at, because with a larger data set, it's easier to say something about the volume of complaints in any given district. So I think that's the first thing I would say. But certainly in slides moving forward, I can try to speak to that a little bit more, or speak to it in a different way if that's helpful.
Thank you.
Did I miss it? Oh, I'm sorry. Commissioner DeBose, do you
I'm
have
still,
questions or comments?
no, I'm still here, and I apologize for this
All is well. All is
old,
well.
but I have no questions or comment. My only comment is, oh, you always do a good job, and thank you for the thoroughness of the information.
And I guess that leaves me. Did I forget any? Oh, yes, I'm forgetting one commissioner. I keep forgetting her. I apologize to you. I keep forgetting you. Commissioner Michelle Annex Kenny, do you have any questions or comments for
I have
the?
no questions. I just say I applaud the excellent work as well.
Okay, I apologize. I keep forgetting you. I apologize. I'm going to become familiar with all of you. So that leaves me.
Thank you, good.
The load is heavy on IA. IA is internal affairs. The load is heavy. Janine, you always do an amazing job, and I'll double back on this later, right? But the complaint load appears to be extremely heavy on IA. And this is why we need independent investigations in CPOC, right? So anybody watching this video, please contact your mayor, please contact your council member and show them and express why CPOC should have independent investigation. Also, Live Free has, or go to the Live Free site and sign the petition. Go ahead, sign the petition. So with that being said, my next comment is I can't wait for the day that all of our citizens, right? And I think this may help clear out complaints faster. I can't wait for the day that our citizens that file complaints or the witnesses to these complaints do not have to travel up Dungan Road. Yeah. Yeah, I can't wait. I can't wait till they don't have to travel up Dungan Road, especially the ones that do not have a vehicle or an operating vehicle, because you may have a vehicle and it, the alternator goes out or something happens. So I can't wait. So continue to support independent investigations of CPOC by using the ways that I expressed earlier. Contact your local city council member, contact the council members at large, contact your mayor directly. Also, sign that petition and live free. My next comment is, boy, would I like to hear you on NACO. Are you talking about at the NACO conference?
Yes, yeah,
The
we put a
NACO
proposal.
Oversight Conference?
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Yeah, we trying to stunt now, Miss McCleary. We trying to show off now. You always do a thorough job. I always speak highly of you. I'm just happy that you're on our team, right? I like to hear from you twice a month. I like to hear from you monthly. Just you do an excellent job on taking the APR finding and breaking it down into a language where anybody it can be receptive anybody, it can be received by anybody. So once again, thank you, Janine. It seemed like I'm repeating myself every time you speak, but I appreciate it. You know?
Thank you.
And with that, I think it's back on me, right, Ms. Tanya? Upcoming events? Am I going to say upcoming events, or is that you, Ms. Tanya? I guess I will say it. Upcoming events. The next CPOC public meeting is May 8th, 2025 at 6 p.m. Presentations from the investigative division and the outreach and constituent service division. Public hearings take place at PPD headquarters on 400 North Broad Street. Dates are subject to change and may be canceled at a short notice. Please call 215-686-3281 in advance to confirm that a hearing is happening or contact CPOC with any questions. And with that being said, it's that time of the meeting again. It's colloquy time, public comments. So if you haven't been to this meeting before, I will read the public comment verbatim. So there's no discrepancy. I will read the colloquy verbatim, so there's no discrepancy. That means every week it'll be the same thing. It'll be the same rules, just to maintain consistency within the Citizens Police Oversight Commission. And with that said, here I go. Community comment colloquy. We welcome public comments and feedback. Please address your comment to myself as the chair. If you would like to speak, please provide your full name. We will not be unmuting anonymous participants. If you are a member of the media, please identify yourself as such. You can indicate that you would like to speak by raising your hand or sending a request to the meeting host in the chat. You may also submit public comment through the chat. You will have 3 minutes to address the commissioners. I will keep the time and notify the board when 3 minutes has elapsed. Any documents or follow-up communications can be submitted to CPOC@phila.gov. That is CPOC@phila.gov or CPOC@phila.gov. Public comments should be limited to the topic covered in this meeting. All public commenters must refrain from offensive language, threats, and/or harassment. Participants that violate these instructions will be removed from the meeting. While we welcome your public comment and feedback, commissioners may not be able to respond to your questions or comments during tonight's meeting. Every attempt will be made to follow up by phone and/or email after this meeting. You can contact CPOC at CPOC@phila.gov as I demonstrated earlier, or you can call us using this number, 215-685-0891. That is 215-685-0891. And with that, Danny, do we have any public comments?
I have not received anything in the chat or from any requests or hands raised at this time.
Okay, I want to take this time. If you do have public comments, please raise your hand or put it in the chat while I take this time to address something that happened during the meeting. I do want to address Mr. and this is the first time, this is the first meeting, Gilberto Gonzalez, right? I want to apologize to you because earlier I mispronounced your name, right? I mispronounced your first name. I think I called you Roberto, right? So I want to get it right. Gilberto Gonzalez. We talk about accountability and transparency, and if you put one finger forward, you got 3 pointing back. So I would like to apologize to you, and I will get it right.
Thank you, Commissioner Bennett. Appreciate that. Thank you so much.
No problem, no problem. And with that, Danny, do we
I
have
do see no new things, so I think we can move to adjourn or move to our, yeah, adjourn the meeting for the public.
Do we have a motion? Do I hear a motion?
This is Commissioner DeBose. I move that this meeting be adjourned, having finished the business of the day.
That is a motion from Commissioner DeBose to adjourn the meeting. Does anyone second that motion?
I second that motion, Commissioner Stewart.
Whoa, that's a new one. That is our new commissioner, Commissioner Erica Stewart, taking the initiative to second this motion. All in favor of adjourning this meeting, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. And with that, this meeting is adjourned. Please, Commissioner, stay on as Danny works his magic. John, he beat you to it, John. Beat you to it. I saw you. He was ready to say